Hello, AI Seeking the Truth. Good to see everybody tonight. I guess y'all have been looking for another encounter. Don't forget, tonight at 8 o'clock p.m., I will have Amanda, the Bigfoot lady, back on the show. It's going to be a live. Come interact with us and have a good time. It's 8 o'clock tonight, guys, on Abnormal Investigations. Let's get into this encounter. Mike, cryptids don't always attack at night. That summer of 2023 was one I'll never forget. My family and I had gone to my grandfather's cabin for a 4-day trip. My parents, brother, and I slept in tents outside while my grandfather and grandmother stayed inside the cabin. On the 4th day, I woke up around 9 a.m. and went inside to make some coffee. My grandfather, step-grandmother, and mother were already up, sitting by the window, smoking, vaping, and drinking coffee. After chatting with them for a bit, I went back outside to join my brother and my father. We started a fire in the small rock pit my grandfather had built specifically for outdoor cooking. My brother and I made some pancakes while my dad supervised. As we sat down to eat, I took a sip of my coffee and enjoyed the peaceful morning atmosphere. The only sounds were the wind rustling through the trees, the crackling of the fire, and the occasional bird chirping. Suddenly, my brother let out a blood-curdling scream from a distance. My family and I immediately went on high alert. My grandfather grabbed his gun, thinking it might be a bear or a coyote. But what emerged from the woods was something none of us could have ever imagined. It was about 7-foot tall creature chasing my brother out of the woods. It looked like it hadn't eaten in years. His body was covered in red dots, kind of. It was hard to explain, but he almost looked like a Dalmatian, which I assumed was his camouflage. Its teeth were shining as it was running. It had a large mouth with super large sharp teeth, it looked like, and one of them was slightly hanging out of its mouth. The creature appeared very terrifying. My grandfather took aim and fired his gun at the creature. To our surprise, the creature let out a pained screech and stumbled, its pace slowing down. The .243 had hit its mark. My grandfather racked another round in and fired again, and the creature yelped once more, its movements becoming more labored. You could tell it was injured. The creature continued to chase my brother, but its speed had decreased significantly, and it was now beginning to hunch over and to limp. My brother was able to stay ahead of it, and when he reached the creek, he jumped over it without hesitation. The creature, however, it stopped at the creek's edge. It seemed to be hesitant to cross the water, and it let out a frustrated roar. My grandfather took advantage of the creature's momentary distraction and fired his gun again. The creature screamed like I'd never heard. Once more, and it dropped straight in its tracks. It then started crawling toward the woods. My brother had made it to the porch by then. When we looked, it was back up, running now, even more severely wounded, into the woods. We were all shaken but revealed that the creature had retreated. My brother was traumatized, crying, but he was physically unharmed. We decided to pack our belongings and head home, eager to put terrifying encounter behind us, but my dad said we needed to contact wildlife to make sure that my grandmother and grandfather would be fine. When they arrived, they went down and searched the woods. And what was weird is we heard 2 gunshots, and they came back with a large, you won't believe it, mountain lion. They said they had found it. It had some bullet holes in it from my grandfather's .243, which we knew was bull. We seen this thing chasing my brother. But my grandpa looked at us like to be quiet. He said it's better to get along with them and to believe them than to go against them, because they can make things really hard on him and his farm. I worry for my grandfather now that he shot one and possibly it did not survive. Do you think my grandpa will be okay? I think he's definitely a target now. He's shot one of them. If it did die, he's a target for sure. He needs to make sure that he has lights around his house, his gun ready. Yeah, he's probably, I would say, at least a target. But again, lights and, precautions, I think he could be okay. Maybe a dog in the house to let you know if it was around. Thanks for sharing this story. Um, I'm glad that your brother was okay. Sounds like a very close call, and I've never heard of a creature like that. Has anybody else in the chat heard of a creature like that? If you have, let me know. Thanks for listening, guys, and hopefully I'll see you tonight on the live on Abnormal Investigations.